Let's take a side profile view of the Suzuki Vstrom 250, the beautiful, amazing bike, which has a little bit of a problem with regards to the ergonomics. As far as a person who is above 5 feet 7, or 7 is concerned, okay, my height is at around 5 feet 11, so I have to hunch down. This guy sitting on the bike also seems to be around that height. Now the problem here is, see, the handlebars, they are a bit low set. They're not so high, heightened in the sense, wherein this person, when he's sitting like this, you could almost see his arms are slightly in a curve, of course, but then he is bending in a bit for the photograph, most probably. This cannot be a right posture to ride on long distances, okay, for sure that he will pretty soon get maybe a backache here because he's bending all the while, or he seems a bit healthy, and I don't think he will be able to manage the core strength to maintain this position for long. All right, that's one thing. Right, so now going back to the problem that I'm trying to fix here is, see, if I heighten this handlebar a bit, okay, let's say this handlebar comes till here, okay, what happens is you can straighten your back. Right now he is at this angle. You can straighten your back, and then from here you can access your handlebar. Okay, this being your arm, okay, you can access your handlebar, and you can relax your elbows too. So when you sit straight, you can do greater distances. This is the difference between doing 400 kilometers a day to maybe even 600 to 700 kilometers a day. So that matters a lot, if especially if you are touring on long distances. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to fix. I'm trying to bring this handlebar up by using a riser. I'll show you what all I've done so far with regards to procuring risers for this bike that is available in the market, and increase the handlebar height this much. All right, by doing so, I think I will fix this concern. For now, this guy who's sitting on the bike, of course, he's doing a photo shoot, but then I'm damn sure that here, here, okay, and of course here, because he's bending his back. What happens is, usually when you bend your back and ride the bike, especially the upright bike, adventure bike for that matter, your spine is supposed to have a S curve here, the lumbar spine here, right? This is how the spine goes. Now what happens is, pretty soon he will start, his spine is definitely not in S curve right now. It is straight. This is problematic for the lumbar. Okay, this is not your natural position of the lumbar spine. Your lumbar spine is supposed to be like this. Okay, it's supposed to come like this. Okay, it's supposed to be locked in this position. That is the natural position of the spine, and to maintain this, it's better that you sit straight. Okay, when you sit straight, what happens is, you have the ability to lock your lumbar spine into this position. Okay, you can look up most of these several videos on lumbar spine and its natural position. Especially in the gym, we are supposed to always lock your lower lumbar spine and then lift weights, etc. So you can go through my concern. You can research on this further, okay, online, and then decide, and then get to know what I'm talking about. So having said this, I think I also forgot to mention that even the neck will start paining, because he is in this position. It will start paining, right? So it's better you keep your neck straight, and all of this can be addressed by having a upright handlebar and a riding position. So let's take a look at how we do that. And also one more thing, I think it's not related to this video, but let me tell you one thing. The advantage of riding on bigger wheels is that, see, it has a 19-inch wheel up front, right? So what happens is, when there is a pothole, let's imagine there is a pothole of this size or this size. So what happens is, this wheel has enough diameter that it can just glide over it. But imagine if it was a small scooter wheel like this, right? So even the smallest of these can be felt. It goes in, if in case you're not doing a sufficient speed, it'll go in, and then it'll transfer the shock to you. So the best thing is, see, why do you not feel any uh, much of these bad roads on a bus? Because the wheels of the bus is so high. Okay, it's I'm talking about physics out here, right? So that's one thing. Plus, on a motorcycle, what you can do is, let us say there's a huge crater or maybe a pothole out here. Let's say out somewhere out here. Okay, what you can do is literally just apply pressure on your thighs and legs and stand up slightly, maybe about 1 inch, 2 inch, okay, from the seat, which you can do by holding, because you're also holding onto the handlebar and you also have a proper pivoting point that is at the foot peg, and then you can escape this. Okay, and that is what you can't do on a scooter, because on the scooter you're literally resting your leg here, right? And then you will have to pull on the handlebar of the scooter to stand up. You get your ass up about 2 inches high. And that's one of the reasons why I ended up having back problems on a scooter. And let me talk less about the lesser that we speak about the cruisers, the better, because you see, in a cruiser your legs are literally like this, right? This is how you sit, and the whole of your spine is totally exposed to or at the mercy of the suspension of your motorcycle. Okay, and that is what it is. So yeah, cruisers are not for bad roads for sure. Definitely you can't do greater distances on a cruiser. How can you get up? If you try to get up, first thing is you have to totally rely on the handlebars, or maybe the handlebar of the cruiser will be like this, right? It'll be here. You will have to pull. It's like pulling on a lat pull on in the gym. Pull to get your ass up from any of these undulations on the roads, right? So cruisers not for me. Just wanted to explain this point to you guys. So I hope you got it. Anyway, so let's go ahead and take a look at the handlebar modifications with the rises that I've done so far. My continuous quest to fix the rider triangle on my Vstrom 250, I had purchased quite a lot of handlebar risers to begin with. First, I purchased something from Carbon Racing. Here you go. These are the Carbon Racing ones. These are the I think this is the only size they had, the shortest one. And then this is from Zana, okay, and this is from Luvia, right? So out of all these three, I found Luvia to be the most let's say reliable so far, in the sense the handlebar is still holding. When I fitted Zana and Carbon Racing, the handlebar was just not tight enough, and it would, with just slight amount of pressure, it would move around. Okay, it will roll around. But Luvia, it held on pretty well. I did a little bit of a off-roading also, and then a few of my friends who don't know how to ride bikes, they took my bike for a ride and then bent the handle and came back. Why? Because they used a lot of pressure on the handlebar. They don't seem to have competent core muscles, because of which they had to rely on the handlebar and bent it. But then when it bent, it didn't become loose. It was still able to hold its position, and I somehow managed to ride back home. So now I'm thinking of a permanent solution. So let me tell you, out of all of these three, this I found the best in terms of the build quality also, okay, and the fit and finish also, right? So Zana being the worst, because you could make out there is a difference in the height of one bolt housing to the other, okay. There is a huge difference, and the Carbon Racing is I think this is needless to say, it's of no use, okay. Especially this height itself is of no use, okay. This is the longest my 250 Vstrom can go without needing the change of cables and without interfering with the cables that is already there on the handlebars, okay, cabling. So this is the best so far, and it gives me the most comfortable ride so far. I can keep my back straight, okay, and avoid straining my wrists or any part of my body that is associated with riding, that is. So now what I'm going to do is, if you can see the kind of pressure points that the handlebar was capable of doing. See, this is the minimal. This is the only. These are the only places where the handlebar was able to make contact. Okay, when it was tightened. Out here, it is here and here. And also, see, these are made up of aluminium, right? So you can see it's just like clay. It becomes like clay against I think it's a stainless steel handlebar that they provide with the Vstrom. Okay, even though this is also aluminium, for some reason it's able to hold on pretty well. Okay, I don't know why, but then I still feel even here the problem is that this dip that they've given is too profound, in the sense the handlebar goes in and then on top of it you have this clamp. This is the OEM clamp that they provide. So what happens is what happens is, see, it forms this catchment area. What happens here is the handlebar becomes free. So what I wanted to do is shave off maybe 1 mm of these edges, thereby exposing a bit more of this dip, okay, this dip out here, and then the handlebar being able to catch, fit into this particular socket snugly and tightly, okay, so that when there is enough pressure on this, on the top clamp, the handlebar is also evenly placed on this area. Right? That way what happens is your handlebar will stick there. It will stick for a pretty long time. In the sense, even see, whenever there is a road hump or a pothole and you apply front brakes, a lot of pressure goes to your handlebar, for sure. Yeah, usually you are supposed to take care of those kind of situations with your core muscles. You're supposed to activate your core muscles and ensure the handlebar is only used for handling, in the sense guiding your bike to the direction that you want. In fact, handlebar is it has only about 50% weightage in handling your, or moving, changing the direction of the bike. All right, you have to use the whole body of yours to ensure you change the direction. These are things you learn when you go for these superbike training classes, etc. So let me not go deeply into that. We're just discussing about the rider triangle. Let's stick to that now. Now these were the long bolts that were provided with Luvia. I'm also going to be, thankfully, see, the fact that I ordered so many, I got a set of bolts with each of those. And now I'm going to try the bolt of the Zana ones with the Luvia ones, because Luvia ones are quite long. And also what happens is, when this goes into the base socket of the handlebar clamp, it has a limit, okay? The depth of that base clamp is also limited. It can't go beyond a certain point. So what happens is, when this sits inside and then you tighten it, it can only go to a certain depth, that's it. And after that you still have a little bit of looseness there, right? So looking at that, I'm going to try and do some jugaad and then finally get my handlebar fixed and solidly placed out there. So I've marked around 1 mm from the top that needs to be shaved off. In local lingo it's called as the facing or something like that. So let's see if the shop guys that I know close by are able to do this. Else I can't help it, I'll have to manage with this. And let's see what happens. So guys, I've gone ahead and got the machining done on the Luvia. You would have seen machining being done there, right? See, This is how I got the machining done. They were shaved off around 1 mm from the top. Yeah, around 1 mm has been shaved off. And they've roughened the surface here so as to make it a better holding place for the handlebar. Holding place, plus I'm going to go a step ahead and use this quick weld from JB Weld. The thing is, I don't want to go for a conventional welding and make it permanent, in the sense that is going to be pretty tough, so I don't want that. No, nor do I have the patience to go and negotiate with these guys. Rather, request them to do certain small jobs, which most of the times they might not accept to agree to do. And there's one of those dogs in pain, I think, in the apartments, being ill-treated anyway. So these are the two things that I'll be using now. This has a curing time of around 4 hours. Sets in 6 minutes. Works on multiple surfaces, including metal, that is. So this is going to be a stainless steel to aluminium joining. So let's go ahead and do this. First we shall set these ones up here like this. Okay. Let me use a try. So this seems to be been pretty strong. I don't know for how long it will last, but let's see. There certainly is a gap out here, but then I don't know how far it will last. I just want to test it today. See, although this is not going to be showing anything, let's see. It's okay. You see the damage because of the hard work. Let's go. That's why you should leave certain things to the mechanics. If you don't, you would rather destroy your work than anything.